Keith's Patrick Star because the Sayers that were flying last time were an uncountable amount.
So we're going to be starting off here in Game 1 of Grand Finals on Western Air Temple. taxiivation and Froniix hoping that they can like bring the momentum off of winning the last set into this one against Vortex and Keith. They did start to dial in those team combos towards the end there. Oh, Keith, I think he was expecting Froniix to come in, which is why he delighted to the left and then turn around neutral air to the right. Holy, all right, this is a really early stock loss for Keith the Poo-Poo. That's going to be a huge start for the red team. Let's see if Froniix can keep it up, putting a lot of pressure onto Vortex. taxiivation comes in, GC Inlight, that's going to get the KO here. See if they can get this stock off of Keith. No, they just back up. They're not going to get too greedy and force Keith off stage even further.
I mean, with how great of a start they have, I don't blame them for not wanting to get too risky right away. I mean, I feel like they're coming with a lot of good momentum too because of that Game 5 set that they just won, right? So they're feeling fresh, they're feeling like, you know, they're warmed up and stuff like that, and that could be part of the issue here with blue team. Maybe they're not as warmed up, maybe they were just watching the last set rather than, you know, keeping their hands warm, who knows? But stocks are flying all over the place. However, Keith might be losing a stock right here as red team really solidifies his Game 1 lead.
Yeah, Keith is getting into the red. One more hit, he's going to be officially in the red. He's going to have to look at that and watch. If he ends up losing this stock, oh man, it's like they were dialed a little bit on the follow-ups off of the combos, but the end light came out for Froniix. The neutral signature missed from taxiivation. That would have been a stock loss. They end up getting it anyway, but it was like 10, 15 seconds later. They could have gotten it earlier than that, and that's tough because that's one of the problems that we were seeing earlier. They've been doing great team play, but still, that's one thing that's kind of been like a red flag on their gameplay. Nice recovery there from Keith, turning that edge guard around. That's going to be Froniix on final stock, and all of a sudden, you know, if Vortex is careful enough and he's able to live as long as possible, they can get the stock up of taxiivation, turn into the 2v1 onto Froniix, and then all of a sudden taxiivation's in the 1v2.
Yeah, I mean, playing Kaya here too, I think is going to be a big boon as well. I mean, just having the spear or the bow available is going to allow them to play a little bit more passive, but still kind of get their hits in when needed. So as long as they're able to just really stay on top of that, like, I think they'll be fine. But like, you also need to get in there because now Keith also at 137 here, he can't be the only one aggressing, and as we can see right there, is going to lose that final stock. So now you've got 2 stocks to go through. If you can find a way to get Froniix out of here, I mean, you can see this Froniix is going to play on the back foot here, going to allow taxiivation to be the aggressor, and you know, they'll pick up anything as they can, but that is going to be able to clean that up. Beautifully played, goes for the ground pound, gets to GC sidelight to clean that one up. Well done, well done.
And again, that's like another time at the end of like Froniix kind of acting like the bait there in the moment and just kind of like being really evasive and moving around. He didn't take a ton of damage. He only took 464. He did take more than taxiivation did. But really, it's just like him floating around and kind of being like, ooh, I'm over here. Ooh, come attack me. Ooh, nope, oh, now I'm over here. Ooh, come attack me. And like it's working because the second the blue team wants to like disengage from that and be like, oh, you're just bait, I'm not worried about that. I'm going to go over and attack your teammate. All of a sudden, that's when he creeps back in. The second you like look away from him, he's basically like Boo from Mario. The second you look away from him, like he's coming towards you, and you need to pay attention, which is kind of what happened at the end there. The blue team started like putting a lot of their focus onto taxiivation, and in that moment, all of a sudden, Froniix comes up, he helps set up the edge guard, and they get the KO.
Well, we're going to go right back into Western Air Temple, so I assume both teams are feeling pretty all right here. Again, blue team, I mean, we know what they're capable of, we know how strong they are, but we need to see them kind of answer back, right? That game 1 was pretty dominant in red team's favor. We're going to see if things can turn around here. However, red team started off pretty good here. The axe combos coming through, putting down some pretty solid damage on the Vortex, and the Vortex trying to take a small, quick breather, and Keith becoming the next victim.
Ooh, taxiivation. He charged up the ground pound. Vortex was ready with the punish. Dude, Vortex's target swap, his movement has been really good so far. He's been going so fast, back and forth between both members of the red team. taxiivation sent to the right, but they're both going to be focused on a Froniix, so hopefully they can at least add up damage or find the stock off of that while taxiivation is recovering back to the stage. Tax grabs the hammer. The side air from Vortex is going to send him over. Now Froniix is over on the wall. They get the KO off the top. This time it's going to be taxiivation falling. Certainly they get the edge guard here. Oh no, it feels like they kind of dropped that one. It took a lot from Froniix's in-air movement economy to get back. There's the side sig, the second swipe, hitting Keith.
Oh my god, Vortex just really keeping the red team at bay while Keith is finding his way back to the stage, just between like the weapon tosses and the side lanes to side air, and just like, just back, I say. Just racking up the damage and just like not getting hit in the process at all. That was crazy work from them. And now, a huge statement after that game 1 loss, as they are taking, 3 stocks before losing 1 for themselves. However, that should be it for Keith here. No, dodges right through.
Dude, that dodge was amazing. I really thought the top side of that was going to hit him. It wouldn't lead to the stock loss. He would just like bounce off the sidewall and end up being high and then recover back to the main stage. But still, the dodge was just fantastic on that. The timing to get through it was so good. Vortex is going to disengage. He was in the red team sandwich there for a moment. He goes over to the left soft platform. Glad he's on Western Air Temple.
Okay. There we go. Taxiivation was getting a little bit of damage in there, but caught Froniix in the madness for at least just a little bit. Tried to get a big pickup on Keith. Unfortunately, just a little too late on that one. All right, there we go.
Taxiivation just kind of... Dude, Taxiivation was like camping on the right side soft platform because he's the most damaged in this game and on final stock. Keith hits the stomp side air, extends out, goes back. He sees Froniix coming in as the pressure relief valve. There's Vortex setting up the edge guard, but blue team more laser focused on Froniix. I kind of like this. They're sending one member of the red team away and then both playing the man advantage onto the other. And they're kind of just like going back and forth doing that for each member of the red team. Taxiivation does find the KO here. Froniix gets to bounce off the wall with the Lance recovery, not enough to KO Keith just yet. And to send him on a final stock. This time he creeps into that effective zone with the hammer recovery and gets hit by the Lance recovery for the KO off the top left.
Yeah, and we can see that Vortex was there, just kind of like, look, they recognize the situation that they're in. They are low damage, right? That's potential for a really long team combo. And decided to just kind of play along on those platforms until Keith came back to provide some relief. As we can see right now, they both have weapons in hand here. It doesn't take much to get Taxiivation out of the way. You just need to find that opening to really get him gone. And they are going to get him the punish on the recovery. Yeah, very well done. And now Keith and Vortex looking to try and close out Froniix here. And after what was really a good start from blue team, red team did do a very good job of bringing things back. They weren't able to, get like a 1v1 scenario. It still ended up being a 2v1 in blue's favor, but still much better than the start of that game. And now we're at 1 apiece.
Ooh, Western Air Temple taken out of the pool here. They didn't like that. And the blue team seems to not want 2 soft platforms either. One of the other variants of that being the Miami Dome. So completely taking that off the table as well. We're going to be getting into this next one. It's tied 1-1 in the set. I'm liking red team, even though they were definitely behind at the end of last game. I'm liking some red team gameplay here.
Yeah. All right, well, let's see how things move forward here. And again, red team off to a hot start. Picking up some really solid damage so far. Again, it's just a very, very early part of the game, though.
Nice, good follow-up. There was a dodge there from Keith because that was not a true combo. Maybe if he would have been a little bit quicker with it from Taxiivation, that would have been true, and they could have hit both members of the blue team. Froniix setting up here. Dude, he's able to avoid 1 hammer recovery, not a second one. Here comes Taxiivation. He was too far away for the hammer recovery to make contact. That got the KO. Even just Froniix is recovering back to the stage. Vortex had enough damage added up on him by Taxiivation.
That was a crazy ground pound attempt there, too. Just went for it all and just wasn't able to find it. Keith still holding on to the third stock right now, though. As you can see, red team kind of opting to go towards his side of the stage, trying to see if they can find a way to clean him up and just continue work onto Vortex. Vortex, has a little bit of damage here, but again, hasn't really been the focus for red team so far. But now we're in a position where that could be the case. Vortex looking to clean everything up by themselves, though. Keith coming in with 1 ground pound. We'll get 1 stock out of the way. Vortex with the side air, not gonna be enough to take out Froniix. However, Froniix at 185, it won't take much to get it done.
Yeah, Keith dropped the second D-Light ground pound, unfortunately, but yeah, Froniix was right there, Vortex was right there with the spear side air to get the follow-up right after. They're gonna be looking for the KO here. 217 damage on Froniix right now. He's at the weapon disadvantage, gonna be looking for a spawn. Surely he gets taken out off of that. Okay, they do get the stock as the weapon spawn was coming back in right as he queued up that gravity cancel down heavy.
But the blue team already taking so much damage on these second stocks as well. I would be careful if I was Vortex. Going off stage like that and just like not hitting anything, then you were in disadvantage at that point. Keith's gonna lose that stock. You're gonna have to play the elusive game once again. Is taken out by the recovery from Froniix here on that top right part of the stage. Now it's 1 stocks a piece for blue, 2 stocks a piece for red. What, blue getting some decent damage going?
Yeah, the movement, the target swapping that Vortex was so good at last game, I'm just not seeing it this game. I don't know if it's a map difference, if it's just like not the weapons that he wants at the right time, because he was doing a lot of it with the bow, and now you see him even swapping out the bow for the spear. A little bit of team damage there. I don't know if that was just to like separate him from that area to bounce his teammate off the wall. Ultimately, Froniix ends up getting the side air for the KO. This is Keith stuck in the 1v2. Great timing on that recovery to get through the ground pound from Froniix, putting him on a final stock as well.
And it looks like he's going to be dancing with the Taros, just trying to see if he can find a way to get tax evasion, you know, just some damage here. Just going to be a tough spot to be in. Now, we've mentioned red team's team combos.
Nice.
Okay, you know, I wasn't even going to finish that conversation because it all takes is stomps there to clean that up anyway, so.
So, Key, I feel like that was the most, like, textbook everything everybody is supposed to do in that moment, but ultimately it's pretty much going to be a losing situation. It's like you're playing an in-game in chess where you're probably going to lose, but you still go through the moves one at a time. Like you're going through a flow chart where you saw the gravity cancel neutral signature coming out from Keith as he was on the wall. The red team is not going to like push that. They're not going to take the bait, even though a dodge was burned, because they have stage control, they have man advantage, they have everything. Keith has to push up onto them, so they just kind of wait. They throw out the side signature from the Olgrim. That's also a bait. If it hits, amazing, they get the stock. If he doesn't, then that's where tax evasion is. He's absolutely ready. That's already built into the flow chart and gonna happen no matter what, and that is going to be the stock loss. So yeah, great gameplay really from everybody at the end. It feels like everybody went down the flow chart they're supposed to go to, and unfortunately in that situation it's just like red team has everything in their favor and you're gonna lose that one.
Now, what I'm wondering here, though, is after that winners finals set, if, you know, that 3-0 loss kind of really lit a fire underneath red team here, because, I mean, granted, we did get a game 5 on the elimination side finals, but they're coming in here just playing some phenomenal 2s in Brawlhalla. I mean, a great lead right now. They're going to try and find a way to close out Vortex. However, Vortex, huge reversal.
Nice.
And that is actually going to be a big pickup here. Can they get Vortex back? Oh, no!
No.
Okay, Keith tried to go down there, tried to save his teammate, and almost lost the stock in the process as well. However, it is still a very even game.
Yeah, that was really smart from tax evasion to come in and put all that pressure onto Keith so that he couldn't dip down super low close to the blast zone, grab the down air, and send Vortex up. He just had to back out from saving his teammate. Otherwise, Keith was also going to lose his stock in the process.
Right now, they're not in a bad spot either. I mean, 175. However, it is Patrick Starr on the Taros, basically. And that is going to be able to take it from the other side, but that is an Ulgrim side, like, from the other side of the stage. I mean, he still hits like a truck. Axe still hurts. And there we go. Nice pogo to get back on stage. Also have a nice little bit of stage advantage here. Okay, there we go. Nice weapon toss, finding a way into there. Two teams. Okay, there we go. Things are definitely starting to slow down here a little bit. You can definitely feel the tension mounting up. Big pickup for both of them. This air, that's going to be one. Can we get a second? Looking for the
he was looking for the yeah, he looked in for the dash and D-light. Then he moved off stage further, tried to hit the recovery after he got below his opponent. He's still looking for the stomps, but his opponent was too aerial, and tax evasion got the falling side air right after that. GC side sig from tax evasion. Oh. Dude, come on, man. You gotta get that, dude. How many times have they dropped those? I feel like they had the perfect setup there. There wasn't even like another member of the blue team to get in the way and mess things up or put pressure on them. Just the bounce off of the stage after the in-sig is a little bit too high to pick up that grounded side signature. Just get ready for maybe the gravity cancel just a little bit off the ground so you can hit a grounded opponent and a slightly aerial opponent.
And the crazy thing about that, too, is by missing that, you still got the stock afterwards, but Keith came back into play and picked up a stock on you in the process as well, which just made things worse. That's definitely a problem Red Team really needs to address here, because that combo looked great to start. It could have put them in a nice position. If he had landed that, this would be a much different game right now, because Blue Team is looking like they are on the cusp of forcing this game 5 here. Weapon toss.
Nice, dude.
Nope, not going to get picked that one.
The guarding from Vortex as Froniix is coming back to the stage. There's the down air. He would have liked to hit a recovery there, but his opponent was below him. Dude, that's one. Oh, skip, dude. It's going to end like that. That's tough. They gotta be ready, man. That's what we talked about earlier. You called it out specifically. Even if it's not specifically in the Bloom and Yunpyo game, it's gonna be a problem in the next game against their next opponent in the grand finals. You called it out word for word, bar for bar.
This should be the reset. Like, we should be in the next set right now. And it really just kind of comes down to that one missed combo on taxiivation's end there. And you know what? Hey, things happen. I mean, I know we're harping on it a lot, but hopefully they aren't, so they can just get their mental right to get into this game 5, because it's either you pushed it into the reset, or we're just done. We're just done, and Keith and Vortex are going to be your champions for 2s today. So, I mean, we'll see how things work out. Looks like we got our players ready to go. They're ready and locked in. Looks like no character changes at any point in time. So we'll see how things work out. I don't know what stage we're going to be going to. We're getting Western out of here, and that's the only stage that Keith and Vortex have gotten a win on in this set. So that's just something to keep in mind here. So I don't know where we're going to be going here. I mean, Small Fortunes of Lions, we did see taxiivation and Froniix. I believe that was game 3 that they got a W on before we went back to Western Air Temple. So who knows? I'm not sure where we'll be going here.
So specifically that team combo, that's now like the 2nd or 3rd time we've seen it end in a similar fashion. I can't remember if taxiivation's been going for the same move, but he's been throwing out a grounded move towards the blast zone, and it's been an aerial opponent each time that is like bounced out or bounced above the move that he's thrown out. So I need him to go for something different. Maybe that's the neutral signature facing your teammate, so you reach up at the 45-degree angle in the air ahead of you. You can hit an aerial opponent, you send behind you. It's still a Taros insig, so even if you get the bounce off the stage off of it, you're probably going to get the KO, or you need to do an aerial move, or you need to catch the opponent as they're bouncing off the ground so they're still technically grounded and you can hit a low move. He has to change something up.
All right. Well, we're going to see how things exactly change up here. I mean, right now, blue team is still relatively close. However, blue team, okay, I was going to say, is not too far behind until losing that stock, and now it is a firmly strong red lead, I would say. However, you still got to be careful going off stage against Keith, especially when he has that hammer in play, because the reversal potential is much too high.
Gonna be coming back with the sweat beads. Vortex is not able to give him a hit or anything like that so that he can get back to the stage, because members of the red team were there to kind of deter that option as well. So great edge guard, great defense there from the red team as Keith was respawning or moving back over towards the stage, recovering.
Ooh. Oh, okay. That
which one's it gonna be?
Yeah, that was really terrifying, man. Getting the GCD light into the recovery. And again, it's not like there was that much damage, but just how high up they were. It scares you a little bit. It shakes you to the core. However, things are going to even up, really relatively even so far. So great stuff from blue team after a little bit of a rough start. However, red team kind of picking up where they left off, trading back and forth with these hits, kind of passing blue team members back and forth. Vortex, again, still a lot of damage.
They've done a great job coming back into this one. Vortex, he takes a side sig all the way from the right side of the stage, so he's still going to be living with that Kaya defense as well. See if he can play this one safe while still being a part of this game. Little weird, like single hit team damage is coming out. Froniix, he's able to get the dodge up to touch the wall and reset his jumps. There's a big side air hitting his teammate and tax evasion. There's the side light. There's the stop side air. Is there going to be a turnaround here? It starts with the weapon toss from Vortex, but the recovery from Froniix is going to completely split those players up.
But that's huge. That's a big pick up there. That's another stock in your favor. Dude. Oh my God, the reversal, the GC toxic. I believe that was a toxic, yeah, from taxiivation. Just gonna be able to grab that, whip him to the other corner. Oh my God.
Vortex had like 250 damage on that stock before he finally lost. Oh no! What are you doing, Froniix? Oh no, dude, that was a yellow KO from a low strength legend off the top with the spear recovery in the blast zone, dude. Oh, Skip, not like this, man. It hurts.
It might be over, man. That's such a huge stock loss here, and I'm not trying to write taxiivation out. It's just that blue team has some crazy team. No, man, I'm sorry. You can't convince me into this one. I'm sorry. It's nothing against taxiivation. It's just like
Taros.
Dude, it's a Taros versus a Taros and a Kaya. What's the advantage here?
Nah, man. It's trust taxiivation 2025. He can do this one. He's just got to play it so carefully. He knows that if he hits an axe, and like Keith is going to be right there, which is why he didn't go for the end light. He went for the single hit side light.
Okay, but now you're off stage. Kaya's looking for these pogos, has no problem throwing that out. However, okay, a couple strong hits here. Taxiivation has to play you know how hard it is to play super elusive as a Taros? It is not the easiest thing in the world.
He can take like one more recovery. Come on, man. The IRS is at your door. I want you to slip out the back door. Okay, he's able to run off the stage because of how far away Vortex was. He has hammer. I'm liking this as the weapon swap here. Oh no, the side air. And Keith the Poo-Poo and Vortex are your SEA Summer Doubles champions.
Man, that's so unfortunate,
that hurts.
man.
That really hurts.
It really comes down to that game 4 miss combo. If you just land it, man, that means you get that stock out of the way. Keith doesn't come in, and even though you get that combo, he doesn't get the punish on you to be able to